Hi, I'm Claire and this is my review of Planetfall by Newman. I received an ARC from the author in exchange for an honest review, and I also received a finished copy from the distributor, so since I am left with this abundance of riches, I will be doing a giveaway of the finished copy, which I haven't read at all. It's a brand new copy, so I'll be doing a giveaway of this book later in the month on my blog for Sci-Fi Month 2015, so you can keep your eyes peeled for that. I'll be mentioning it on my social media and all that jazz. Planetfall is Emma Newman's first science fiction novel, and it is out on November 3rd from Rock. Now let's get on to the story. Our main protagonist is Ren. She is the 3D printer engineer for a small religious colony that was started on an otherwise inhabited planet. Now, the colony was established over 20 years ago when Ren and the other faithful abandoned their lives on Earth to follow the vision of their prophet, Lee Soo-mi, who they call the Pathfinder because she found the way to this planet. All this time, Ren has been making and repairing all kind of objects for the colonists, and she's also been keeping all the secrets. Some of those are personal, but Ren's biggest secret concerns the entire colony, and it could very well destroy the colony completely if it came out. This very, very precarious balance that Ren has been maintaining for 20 years is upset by the sudden appearance of Sung-soo, a young man who just pops up outside of the colony's enclosure, and that is something that everyone thought was completely impossible. And on top of that, Sung-soo bears a very marked resemblance to the Pathfinder, who has not been seen for 20 years. The story focuses very closely on Ren with an intense first-person POV. The reader gets to experience her thoughts, her problem-solving skills, her engineering ability, how analytical her mind is, but also just how much worrying she subjects herself to. And that's because Ren has an anxiety disorder. It becomes very clear to the reader quite quickly, but it also becomes clear that the kind of severity of that condition prevents Ren from seeing that there's an issue at all. This denial that Ren has in place as a kind of coping mechanism, that is really important. That is paramount to this story working, because it is what allows Newman to withhold information from the reader in a way that isn't too grating. Obviously, you want to know what's going on and you're conscious that there are things that are being kept from you, but it doesn't feel cheap. I normally have very, very little patience for the conceit of a character who knows the thing, but suddenly when it switches to their POV, they magically don't know the thing anymore because they can't tell the reader. It's so easy for something like that to feel manipulative, but in this book it was very skillfully done, and it never felt like, oh well, this is obviously the writer trying to not show me something. It just felt like this oppressive, constrictive secret that was too terrible to face even for Ren. On the surface of it, the story feels quite simple, but that is deceptive. There is a lot of depth in this book, a lot of intellectual and also emotional depth. There are passages that are very intense and incredibly uncomfortable to read. I felt for Ren so much, even though she's a very flawed character and I didn't always like her and I didn't always understand the choices that she was making. I really empathized with her. As I said, Ren is quite a flawed character. She does things and has been doing things that she finds reprehensible and that I found reprehensible, but there is also some good in her, if only the fact that she's extremely smart and skillful and capable of doing incredible things. That's also true of other major characters, although we really only get time to meet a small handful of them. First, we meet Mac, who is the kind of leader of the colony, and Wren calls him the ringmaster. He's the other person who shares some of these big colony-destroying secrets with Wren. Then we have Sung-soo, the young man who walks into the colony from the wilderness, and he is very friendly and curious and amazed by everything that he sees, but at the same time, he pushes too much for Wren's comfort. We also get to know the Pathfinder, Sue, through the eyes of Wren, who was her best friend and flatmate for many years, even before Sue had the vision that would lead them to this planet. I really enjoyed this book, but the one thing I wasn't so keen on was the ending. Now, this is a story that is about Wren. There are wonderful elements of world building in this book that could make it very much about the society and the colony and how the colony is organized. However, that's not the book that it is. The book is about Wren and her own personal journey, and she is who we follow. And I personally really like world building heavy books about how things work in space, and so I had this kind of slightly frustrating feeling where you really like a book and you want it to go in one direction and it kind of goes into a bit of a different direction. But that is a very personal thing about the specific reading of the story, and I'm sure that every person who reads this book will read it slightly differently, because that is how reading stories works. Now, one thing I will say that I really enjoy about this book is that I've read it something like a week ago now, and I keep thinking about it. I keep thinking about the snippets of things that we've been told about this world, about the Pathfinder, about Wren's life, and I keep thinking, oh, I'd like to know what happens in this bit or that bit. I'd like to know what became of this character. I'd like to see what it was like at first Planetfall when they arrived. I put this book down as 5 stars on Goodreads. It wasn't my absolute favorite, but I really don't feel like 4 stars is enough. If a book has you thinking about elements of the plot and how they could be expanded on 5 days later. So this was my review of Planetfall by Emma Newman. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you'd like a chance to win a copy of this book signed by the author, keep your eyes peeled on my social media. I'm at Claire Rousseau on Twitter, and that's probably where it's going to be. And all of my other social media links are listed in the box down below. And I'm also curious to know about your preferences, your likes and your dislikes as regards to the endings of books. So let me know in the comments below, and if you'd like to read this one, it comes out on the 3rd of November. If you'd like to see more from me, you can check the sidebar for some of my latest videos. And if you haven't yet, please hit that subscribe button for more videos from me every week. I've been Claire, thanks so much for watching, and see you soon.